welcome to the Path to Pleasure podcast. I'm Tanya.
I'm Blaize.
Today is our casual day, and it feels good.
Yes.
I like it.
I kind of had a free day today.
Oh, what'd you do today?
I researched podcasts.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So tried to figure out how to get more of a natural flow and not feel so mechanical and like I have to be on and what if I forget what to say and what if I don't say the perfect thing, and so I'm trying to get over that.
I love that you're a perfectionist. Like, I can see it in your house, your plants. Look at this gorgeous plant. Like, you did this. You take care of this. It would be really sad if it was mine to be like, please, can I just have a drink?
I get that. I used to be like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad thing, but I do understand how you feel. And it's easy for me because it's just us talking, and you're so easy to talk to.
And see,
fun.
I know it'll come.
Oh yeah. This is it. So what body type do you look for in a partner, or what gets your attention?
I am not. I guess if I had to put an answer on that, I would say a bigger body type.
Yeah.
An extra large.
Yeah. Like muscle with a little chunk?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Not so much muscly and not so much over chunk.
Right.
But
yeah,
I like a belly. I like shoulders.
Yeah.
But I like real too.
Oh yeah,
so,
for sure.
I like a butt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is that why you like me?
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's one of the many reasons. Many reasons. So if I had to say which body part probably the most, maybe arms, shoulders.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Ooh, those get me every time.
Yeah.
What about you?
I like all body types, and like you said, muscular with like little bit of chunk, but not too much chunk. I don't even mind too much chunk. Like, if somebody looks good, they look good. And if I'm attracted to them, then it's the whole package. And, that's pretty much me. But I haven't been in a relationship in a while, so it does not matter.
Yeah, I don't imagine you're really looking.
Yeah, I'm just like so busy right now.
You're always doing something.
I know, and now's the time to focus. And I have the manufacturing business, and then I do side projects, and I love helping people, and I love helping friends. And I do have a friend.
I notice you're always trying to put people together.
Oh yeah, because it's so easy.
Like, I do that, but I'm not a mover like you are. It's like, oh, well, whenever I get around to that, it's like, oh, okay. And then I have to do like events where it puts people together, because that takes less effort for me than but you are, as soon as you see something, you're boom.
I listen to what people say in detail.
Yeah.
And it works out for me in business, because somebody will say, oh, I'm having a problem with this, and we're just chit-chatting. And a lot of times people don't realize I'm paying attention.
Yeah.
And I will listen. And if it's something I can help with, then I will help them as much as I can on my own. But then if I have a friend that can help them and make it actually, happen where I couldn't, then I introduce them.
Yeah. And let me give you this resource because I have it. So then it's yours. That's what we talk about all the time. It's like, look, if I have this resource and you're my friend, you have this resource.
Yes.
But most people aren't like that anymore. They mine is mine, and that greed, boy.
Yeah.
They get a hold of that greed, and it just takes hold, and it
Oh, well, and I'm not saying I don't like to get paid, because,
well, that's different.
A girl's got to eat, and I love to eat.
Yeah. I hear you.
But yeah, it's pretty busy right now, but I would have it no other way. And You know, I have really good friends. I do not spend time with people that are not good people.
Yeah.
So back to referring friends, I can do it wholeheartedly and not have any reservations as long as I know both people are, you know, they have good intentions and,
Yeah.
you know, they're good friends. So that really helps build strong relationships and make business happen. And yeah, so dating, whatever, on the back burner, whatever, it doesn't matter. I have an awesome family, you know, a daughter in her early 20s and her boyfriend who's been in our family since he was 16.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I spend as much time with my family as I can when I'm not working.
Well, I think people put so much emphasis on relationships, and it's not even about that.
No, it's not. And, you know, in a romantic relationship, you know, for me, there has to be friendship first. And I'm not sure about you, but I have a lot of experience where they want me to be their possession and they don't really listen to me. I don't lie. And you know that I go into a relationship saying, I'm a workaholic.
Mm-hmm.
I have goals. You know, I apologize if you're not first, and chances are you are, you know, here and here, but you may not realize you are because I'm so focused on, you know, achieving my goals.
But you are always direct. You always speak your truth. You always say exactly what you mean.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite things about you because you don't ever have to guess. And it's look, I don't have time for that in my life. I have too much going on. I don't want to guess if my new friend is going to be a snake in the grass or if she's really this great person that she says she is. It's like, no. I see all the time. You're a great person. You do what you say you are.
I'm usually a bitch right out of the gate, so
I doubt that.
Get that over with.
I doubt that. I feel like you're not even misunderstood. I was going to say misunderstood, but I thought I don't even think that's the word for it. I think you are just a very strong individual. You say what you mean what you say, and people don't receive that well because it's confusing to them.
Because they're so used to having to read between the lines.
Exactly.
I'm like, no, this is a blank page.
Yes. And it's like, look, I'm saying it out loud. You're just not paying attention. I was just talking to Chris about this earlier, and I was like, yeah, it doesn't matter. You can talk to people, but they're not listening to you.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. And it's a lot of, I was in a relationship where he owned a business where he made a great amount of money. And for me, we didn't date because of that. I actually began dating him because he had the audacity just to like hit me up on Facebook of all places, send me a message and was like, hey, I think I know you. I knew I did not know him. I let him play his little game. Aren't you so-and-so's sister? And I'm like, no, I'm not. But you may be thinking of this person who was a friend of mine. And so I let him play his game. But I was like, you know, that guy's bold. And I bet he's fun because he can carry on a conversation with himself. I'm just sitting here barely answering. And so we went out and dated for a while. And he insisted on paying all the bills. I paid my personal bills. I appreciate it. How did he
find, like, he just at random found you?
I'm sure friends of friends, because we did have a lot of mutual friends.
Oh, okay.
So he like took a shot
and just messaged you and was like, oh, hey. And
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And just like he let in, he thinks he's really smooth. So, you know, I'm not trying to kill that for you because I know you're going to watch. But, you know, it's like he felt like he won. And sometimes you have to let people win.
Yeah.
But he's like, he's fun. He's a good storyteller, but he did not listen to me.
Yeah.
And he offered to pay all the bills, and that was amazing. And that was really helpful because I am normally not in debt, but every now and then it happens because maybe
life.
Or maybe your goals exceed like what you're currently bringing in. And so you're building, and then you're, you know, you have to pay that off. And for me, it's like, I don't live in debt. I pay everything off. So that gave me the opportunity to get caught up again. So that was great. But then one day we actually had a conversation, and I don't normally talk about how much money I make or, much about what I'm doing unless I want to talk about a deal or, something exciting I'm working on. So, yeah, one day we were talking about money and he said something and it just hit me to the core because it was basically discounting me as an intelligent woman who can make things happen and actually make enough money to take care of a family. And so when I told him how much money I was making, you should have seen the look in his face. His jaw dropped. He was speechless. This man was never speechless. So he was speechless, didn't know what to say. And I told him, I'm like, you never asked. You never asked me. And when I tried to talk to you, you shut me down. So I wasn't going to push it. But that was fun. That was a fun conversation.
Satisfaction.
It was because, he really just, he treated my career as like, oh, that's cute.
See, I don't know. I hear these stories about people in your life throughout your entire 20 years, right? Journey in this industry.
30, almost 30, yes.
Okay. So, yeah, I listen to these stories and all of these people who treat it like it's so minuscule and minimize everything that you're doing. And I am just perplexed at the person that I see in front of me that would allow these people in her life. And it's just confusing.
You don't see it coming until it's there. And then once I see it, because I've heard you say, I listen to people and I let them think what they will, but I see them. And that's what happens. So for a long time, you don't know this. And everything else is like, oh, this is good. This is fun. This is great.
Right. But what do you do after but you just said that you have a relationship with this person and that they constantly do this. And it's like, so why do you carry on these relationships with these people that
this person hits me up once a year? So that's my interaction. Once a year, he will check in, ask what I'm doing, where am I living, often wants to take me away to some faraway land on a vacation, or let's move somewhere.
Gotcha.
And so once a year, I will entertain this. And normally I am sticking up for myself and like, no, I can't. I'm so busy. This time I just listened. The last time it happened, I just listened. And he talked himself into circles. And, it was entertaining. And why do I do it? Because it's entertaining. I work, and sometimes it's entertaining just to hear people and to hear who they really are. But also it's delightful to hear when they have changed and they have grown as a person and not trying to get your attention through like financial means, not trying to boast about like, oh, I can afford this or I do that. Like, I love it when somebody comes to me and they're settled.
Where they're just talking to you like regular. Yeah.
Just be a normal person. So,
yeah, I don't know any one of my friends that I would sit and talk. Like, we don't sit and talk about what each other makes. Like, that's because it's like, what does that even matter? Who cares? Like,
it used to be a bad habit of mine. It used to be a really bad habit. And it wasn't because I was judging. It was just natural curiosity. And for me, I was like, I really thought it was a fun, interesting conversation. Like, oh, tell me where you are. Tell me what's happening. And then one day I was like, that's probably not the nicest thing to ask somebody, and it's usually like me and my girlfriends, but still, like, if they want to tell you, they'll tell you. So I had to stop doing that.
Well, because it's like, it puts people in an awkward position. Like, where when I was growing up, which not saying it's right, but they would tell you, you can't ask what everybody's making. Now, I think it's more acceptable because it's like, well, no, I don't think anything makes sense anymore.
Yes.
So it's not such a taboo.
Yeah.
But I don't, in order to use that to compare and sounds like judge you, it's just frustrating to hear that there are so many people that do that in your life. And don't get me wrong, it happens in my life, but it happens very little, and yours happens on a bigger scale. Maybe it's because you see more people. I don't know.
See more people. I have,
More
I travel a lot, so I have friends in a lot of places, and also I have changed my path. Like, I've been in the same industry, but I've changed my path and grown for me. And they don't see that. They don't see what it is a lot of times. So I have grown in my eyes in the direction I want to go. I learn, I absorb, and then sometimes you see your opportunity. And for me, I was like, you know what? I am going to try, because if I don't try, it's never going to happen. So you realize, like, most of your friends don't have that
drive.
They don't have that confidence in themselves. They want to hang on to, like, oh, this job's paying me this much, I'm gonna stay here.
Oh yeah, and that carrot that dangles all the time in front of you. I followed that carrot for a while.
Ugh. And the road is not smooth. It's very bumpy. No. Like, have I been hungry? Yes, I've been hungry, but that's nothing new. That's how I grew up. So the opportunity to push forward and keep going is the motivation. Yeah. And it doesn't scare me. I'm not above eating ramen. I love ramen. And also, like, I grew up, like, in a family that, the German heritage was really strong all the way through. And I always say, like, a lot of our meals that my grandmother would make and my mother would make were very, like, German farming. Yeah, like the farmers, that's what they would make. So it was like, I know how to make a great meal on a shoestring budget. So I like learning and growing and making my life better and those around me. And dating, like, dating has been fun, to say the least. I've had some awkward dates.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Yeah. Tell me, like, what stands out for you? I'm sure you have, like, 2 or 3.
I do. I have a couple. I didn't really date a lot. Like, I was kind of afraid, like, from where I grew up in a very small town. Everybody, everybody's grandma's best friend and their uncle's cousin's brother. Like, you knew all of these things, right? And so coming from that small town to Austin, where you don't know anybody and they could tell you anything. And at the time, this was back in 2010, I moved here. And so I had no idea what I was doing. I stayed single for a long time because I had kids, and I didn't want anybody around my kids.
Same.
So I stayed single for a really long time, and I thought, man, I don't even know how to date. Like, that was awful. They could have told me anything, and I would have believed them, because why would they lie to me, right? But at the same time, it's like, oh my gosh, I don't trust anybody here, because I was so afraid. But I remember when I started dating online, because that's the only way I knew how to meet people. So there was one guy that I went on a date with, and it was a very nice restaurant. And I was very nervous because I hadn't gone on a lot of dates. Where I was from, you didn't go on dates. You hung out and drank beer on a tailgate, and then you were dating. Like, so that was it. And so we decided that we would go on a date after I'd talked to him for a very long time. And I was very impressed with his conversation. We get to the place to eat, and we have a drink, and he's a very nice looking man, just like his pictures, very well versed and knowledgeable, and I was having a good time, or so I thought. And he just kept asking, like, you seemed like he was very nervous, and kept telling me how beautiful I was, and asking me, like, you are probably ready to go, right? Are you ready to go? Like, and I would be like, well, no, am I supposed to be? Like, I didn't know what was going on. So, but he would ask me that every probably 15 minutes. Like, do you have something that you would rather be doing? And it made me feel like, well, maybe he has something that he needs to be doing.
I would think the same thing.
Maybe I need to finish my drink. And so it made me feel really weird. And he was like, well, would you like to go out again? Well, as I'm drinking, my drink awkwardly trying to hurry to get the heck out of there because I don't know what's going on. I thought we were having a good time. And then come to find out, like, he was just so nervous that he thought I surely needed to be somewhere else than sitting there with him. So, which was sweet.
So the whole thing was he was insecure, thinking that you were so attractive
that I wouldn't want to be there. And I thought, well, I don't, like, I'm not a huge talker, really. Yeah. So it wasn't, I guess maybe I was showing that I wasn't interested, but I'm also not a very good flirt. So I don't really, I'm sure I was doing a multitude of things wrong. I was also dressed like a Mormon, nothing against Mormons, but like in a cardigan, a lot against Mormons dress, like just no idea what I was doing. So I'm sure I was throwing mixed signals to this dude. Anyway, I don't know. Yeah. But then we never went on a second date because it thought, well, after assessing further, like, it was just uncomfortable. And I thought, no, I don't really know that I want to move further with that, but maybe we can go out and see where it goes from there. Like, just as friends, maybe. Yeah. And because I don't ever want to close my mind to anything, right? Well, a couple weeks go by and then I receive a text from him, like, in all caps. And when it's all caps, right? Oh, we're mad.
They either don't know how to text or they're mad.
Oh, we're mad here. Oh. And it was like in the middle of the night, which anyone that knows me, I go to bed very early and I get up very early. Yes. So my phone is shut off most of the time. Smart. Anyway.
Same.
But I woke up and I didn't sleep very good at the time. And so it was probably like 3 a.m. or something like that. And I read this text that it's him saying how I want nothing to do with you. And like this crazy stuff.
He was drunk.
And well, then I get another text a couple hours later in just not all caps, just regular, and saying, I'm so sorry. My ex got a hold of my phone last night and started texting people in it. And I thought, dodged a bullet there. Like, because to me, like, that's a concern. Like, why? I don't care if you hang out with your ex. That has nothing to do with me. I don't care what you're doing. Keep me out of your circus. I have a very nice, calm life happening that I would like to continue. Yes. And if you want to continue with me, that's fine, but take your craziness someplace else with that. Like, fix yourself. So, because I thought, she may be your ex, but she doesn't want you to have an ex, and fix that. Like, if you can't hang out and be together like that, that's a you problem.
Yes.
So.
I agree.
Yeah, that was a weird one. What about you? Do you have?
Where do I begin?
Right. I've got a couple more as well. I just figured I'll share one. You share one.
Well, I always think back to like awkward dating in my 20s, because in my 20s I didn't drink.
Oh, I should have went farther back to make it more awkward for us all. Okay.
I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. I didn't say curse words because my grandmother had already passed on a few years. Yeah, but my grandmother had already passed on, but I was still concerned she was going to hit me. So
I did that. Same thing.
German grandmothers, love them. She was amazing, by the way. Oh. But I was goody two shoes, again, like you, shirt buttoned all the way up. And if I would go on an awkward date where I didn't feel comfortable, because I was I was always concerned that somebody was a serial killer, and I'm not kidding. So if I got a weird
I
vibe,
thought that same thing when I moved here. I was like, you never know, right?
You never know. And so, for me, it was like, I got a weird vibe and I wasn't sure about it, or if I thought they were moving too soon, like, oh, you're trying to kiss me? I don't even know you. Like I was such a prude. I'm like, I don't know, this isn't working.
Were you like that like, have you always been like that? You said go back to your 20s, but what about, we might as well go all the way back, right?
Small town girl.
So,
yeah. So it was like, yeah.
So you knew, and whenever you knew everybody in small town, and so the dating life was completely different. Now you're moving into your 20s, and now you're out. So that's when the crazy ones came. Yeah. Okay, so that's why we skipped to that.
Oh yeah. Gotcha. So I went from working for an orthodontist and working a part-time job at Office Depot because it was close to the house, to working for the orthodontist,
Did you meet people there working at the orthodontist?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For dating?
Yeah, one guy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was pretty creepy.
Oh.
Like, yeah.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
You hit the nail on the head on that one. So I was 19, and I don't even think I was 20 yet. I was between 19 and 20.
Okay.
And he was a patient. He had just got his braces off.
Is there some kind of violation there? Are you a rebel, or is that common?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
I have no idea. I have no idea, but we were close to the same age, and he went to college not too far from the office I was working at, and he got his braces off, and it was almost like that day I noticed him. I hadn't been working there very long. I hadn't been out of high school very long. And I'm working the front desk. He gets his braces off. He's standing there, and we lock eyes. And his eyes were like
so romantic,
sparkly. They were twinkly, and I was just like drawn in. I was like, "Hey!" And his eyebrows were like two caterpillars. They were like the bushiest eyebrows, but his eyes were so sparkly and twinkly.
So magical.
Yes, and he was tall and he was very well spoken. He did not use slang. I did not use slang. He was very nerdy, and I was in. And so me and my shirt buttoned all the way up, I was sexy that day. I wore a skirt down to the knees. Yeah, so sexy. So he asked me if I wanted to go out sometime. So we went out, and it was fun. And then we went out again. And so like we were dating, and it was close enough that it was like 10 minutes from where I lived. I worked close. He was going to college.
So it worked out good.
Yeah. He was like going to school to be like not just in law enforcement, but specialized law enforcement. So he had been studying a lot to do with crimes. So remember my fear of serial killers?
Yes.
So I don't know for sure, but
this can't be good.
This is months after dating this somewhat normal guy. He was normal for everything that I saw, and I didn't spend a ton of time with him because I was busy working. He was busy with school. So probably about once or twice a week we would get together. And I was at his house, and he said, "Hey, let's watch a movie, in tonight." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And he said, "Well, let's go downstairs to my downstairs neighbor, and we're going to borrow a movie from him." And he's like, "Let's watch, a animated movie." I was like, "Okay, that sounds fine." And it was like out of the ordinary, but also like whatever, no big deal. I'm good with staying in watching a movie.
Yeah.
So we go downstairs, and I remember like the stench, like it did not smell good at this guy's house or at his apartment. And then we got the movie, and we went back upstairs, and he made me something to drink. I didn't drink alcohol, so probably poured me water or juice or something. So I drank that. And we're watching a movie, and I remember getting really sleepy. And he's like, "Here, lay down. Let's cuddle on the couch and watch this movie." He didn't try anything. And next thing you know, I'm asleep. And then he picks me up, and he takes me to his bedroom. And I am alert to what's happening, but I couldn't move. I couldn't like say anything. You know, I just wanted to sleep. So he lays me on the bed, and I again can't move, can't, you know, say anything. And he's caressing my hair, and he says, "You're so pretty. You're such a pretty girl." He's like, "You're so pretty. I just want to throw you on the grill and eat you." And remember when I said I didn't drink or do drugs or anything? So evidently my body was cleaning out whatever toxins immediately, and the adrenaline took over. And so I'm like trying to open my eyes, and I get up and I said, "I have to go home. I'm tired. I have work in the morning. I have to go."
Like, what? Okay, stop. That's not a normal response. What? Like, what were you, like, was your mind just going freaking crazy?
Yeah, of course.
And so you were just trying to be like, okay, I've got to be as normal as possible
Yes.
to just get out of here, like,
Yes.
pretend like you just woke up
Oh, yeah.
while you're thinking, oh my God.
I asked him about it later. I said, "So what was that?" I'm like, "That was really awkward." Because he asked me out again, of course, because we'd been dating for months. And I was like, "No, I'm busy. I'm busy. I'm busy." And so when I asked him about it, I was like, "Why did you say that? Why would you say that to me?"
Oh, wait, hold on. Go back to, because I interrupted just because I thought, wait, what? So you're like, okay, I need to leave. And then he just let you go. Like, what did he?
Well, of course he wanted me to stay.
Did he act like anything was awkward? Like, was
No.
he shocked? Anything? Like,
No, because I feel like it was a social experiment for him. You know, like I really don't know what his thinking was. How would I ever know? He would never tell me. And I was too young to, you know, figure it out completely. You know, I had hardly dated at that point.
yeah.
So I left. You know, he wanted me to stay, but I was like, no, 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 I have to go. And of course, I'm insistent. Like, no, I'm leaving right now. And so I left. I went home, and you know, the next day, or I don't know if it was the next day or the next time that he asked me out, and I was just like, I'm busy. I'm busy. And I said, "So what was that? Why did you say that to me? That was very strange." And he was like, "Oh, I've been reading a book, and you know, when you really admire someone and they pass away, you eat them so that you're more like them." Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And people think that, you know, frightening frightening people have a certain look. No.
No, and that's not
Boy
true.
next door. The
Whoa.
caterpillars should have like set it up. Those big bushy eyebrows.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
And so do you, what?
I didn't date for a while.
Well, I don't imagine, like, but you never told anyone?
I picked up 2 other businesses to work for. So at that time, I was working 4
tell
jobs.
anyone? Like,
No, what am I going to tell somebody? Hey, look, nothing really happened, but this guy's a complete weirdo, and here's this situation that I was in. So no, it wasn't until years later, and you know, I was.
well, I guess because you said you were 19.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I worked at an office where he still had to come in, but fortunately, because he had his braces off, it was
Oh, yeah.
every few months and then every year.
That is wild.
Yeah. Yeah. That was wild.
Do you remember it? Don't say it, obviously, but like, do you remember his name?
Of course I do.
Do you follow? I would be stalking this person.
No,
Just,
he
like-
reached out to me once.
Like how long ago? Or when? How old were
probably
you?
about 10
Tell me more.
Probably about 10 years ago, he reached out and just asking me how I'm doing, you know, telling me how beautiful I am.
And he has a really big grill that he
Oh
would
my
like you to
God.
see. Oh my gosh.
He's like, "Here, drink this."
Oh,
I'm not thirsty. Thank you.
dang.
I'll never be thirsty again. Thank you.
Because I would just want, like,
I was an
that-
easy target too because I worked all the time, and he knew that I was working 2 jobs at that point. And so coming to his house tired is not a big deal, but I don't nap. I've never been a napper. Like and I have trouble getting to sleep at night since I was a child. So it's not, I don't just nap. I don't just fall asleep anywhere, especially not at that time.
Well, and like you said, you're not a drinker. And so most people are, especially at 19. I remember, I'm not a drinker now, but I remember I used to drink, like binge drink.
Oh, wow.
At that. So most people, most kids, especially you said you're from a small town. There's not much to do in a small town.
And this was in the big city. And the campus, like he lived right off campus, and it was huge. So, you know, this was totally different than what I was accustomed to.
I mean, the whole thing is scary in of itself, but the fact that they were studying about criminal law, that's disturbing.
Yeah, it was. So evidently he married a doctor and
so they can
two or three daughters.
They can perform surgeries on people while they're knocked out. Oh, wonderful. Nicely done, sir. Nicely done.
I feel like several of these people who, you know, were not decent people or have done shady things, like as an adult, they had daughters. And then they're rethinking it because, hey, I believe in karma. I don't know about you, but let's hope that your daughters are safe, you know, and I'm sure that's what they're thinking too. So, you know, he reached out, you know, telling me I'm beautiful, wishing me well.
Even though, was he married at the time?
Yeah. But he didn't cross the line. He wasn't creepy. It was a legit, like, you know, hey, how are you? So that was done. But
that's crazy though. Because if you think about it, like, that's like, you said serial killers always go back to their scene of their crime, or maybe that's something like that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm just checking in. Like,
he's like, you're an easy target. What are you doing? You want to come hang out?
Boy, not anymore.
Oh, no. And
I can't ever imagine you being an easy target, but I can't imagine me being an easy target either. But people
Jeffrey
still
Dahmer had that whole thing had just happened, and it was all over the news.
Yeah.
And that horrifies me. I cannot stand violence against men. Specifically, like, yes, like it's horrifying, you know, all the way around, but that whole story just shook me to the core. And then this happened, and I was like, yeah, no, thank you. I'm gonna work and not date for a while. So I really immersed myself and actually started to have fun and make like girl friends where we could actually go out and do fun things together. And of course I was always the designated driver because I didn't drink, but you don't have to drink to have fun.
Right.
And I would have so much fun with my friends and work multiple jobs. And one of them was, you know, being from Texas, Cowboys is a large country and Western dance hall. I did not listen to country music. And I didn't drink, so I'm working in this place, and all they play is country music, and you know, working nickel beer night. So I actually had fun. Like that became my pastime. I didn't need to date, and then there would be regular customers that come in, and they would come there just to dance. And so I learned how to dance, and it was so much fun.
I'm not a dancer whatsoever.
Oh, it's easy when, you know, somebody shows you and they lead you and they tell you, like...
See, I've tried, and I was right on their feet, like, trying... But I also, as he was trying to teach me to dance, he was like, I've never tried to teach someone to learn to dance while they were looking down at their feet.
Yeah.
And I had to go out like this because my boobs are so big. So I was like... So it was very awkward all the way around.
I can't see my feet, but
I'm
if you
always
do.
awkward.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun.